it is now time that I take this seat and add these belts to it. This is sort of a love-hate thing, and I love the way these things look. I just really don't like applying them because they are really, really fiddly, especially at 48 scale. I'll show you why. They are absolutely worth it though. Really, really, truly are. It looks pretty straightforward. So that's the instructions. But it's all so fiddly, especially this stuff here, where you have to loop the small belts through the. It's best just to show what's going on. But this is a image of I think it'd be 32nd scale, but it really does make such a difference. And these are thankfully the pre-cut versions. You can get them without being cut. You have to slice them off out of the material yourself, and they come with some etched parts here. These guys are in cahoots with Eduard, as can be seen by that. Yeah, so they come. You get the pre-cut versions and the version you have to cut out yourself, and the versions you have to cut out yourself. Getting the width correct is always a bit of a challenge. Now, there's a way I go about doing this, and that is I cut them loose. That was a knife. Then there's a backing sheet to them, as it were. Come on. Which you can just sort of make out there. See, it splits. It's very thin, and they're very thin and stretchy. So what I do is I cut them loose and then ball them up with a little touch of gunmetal in my hand. A really, really, really small amount. Although this time I might try a different shade pigment. So, yeah, no time like the present. Let's get on with things. I will start with the back, which, how does this work? So I've done these before, but for some reason I'm not quite understanding what's going on here. The red numbers are, okay, so that's number 2. That's 2, that's 2, that's 3, that's 3. It looks like this, and this all thread through the same one. Can't be right. Is there no image that goes with it? No. Guess there isn't. This is going to be fun. I've done these before. Do you know what? I'll start with this guy first. This will be very interesting. I've got the camera or my phone positioned in such a way that it's between me, which is behind here, and this. So I'm going to have to work over my phone. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going to put it off to the side so I can see what's going on. So, just looking at the instructions, I will need belt number 5, which is that guy, belt number 6, which is that guy. They're arranged in pairs. number 8. So actually on here, but I'm going to show that would be that. Okay, these strips aren't marked, but but these are, that's them there. These little small ones there, little pull tabs. So it does look like this threads through that and that. Cool. Well, let's get on with it, I suppose. So I'll do the tricky ones first, which is that go away, which is the this, and then feeding it through one of these. Which is this guy. Watch as I ping one into a low Earth orbit. I will have to try and determine what the best positioning is for this, because one end fixes to the seat. More or less in this area. So about there. On this, whereas the other end comes over like that. So I think if I keep that strap more or less about at a third there, it should be all right. I remember having a method for this where it went quite easily after a while. They are tricky things though. That's better. I think a friend of mine pointed these out to me. Said, yeah, you gotta try these. And I used them on a Sky Raider, 32nd scale Sky Raider. I've been using them ever since. If there's a set available for an aircraft I'm building, I will use them. And I believe you can also get them for model cars these days. I haven't really checked because cars aren't really my thing. But I do believe they have racing harnesses, like Sparco and things like that, for when you're doing race cars and rally cars. I don't know if you can make it out, but you can just see very faint stitching pattern in there, which should come out nicely with a gentle wash. And there's a nice flat section just about what I'm lifting up here, this little flap. This, which is a which folds over after it threads through the, what's it, number 2, which is one of these guys. There we go. Here it is. It's a little bit stretchy, but not too much. I'm going to be very careful because these holes make it very delicate. That's where the stitching sort of goes. Now I may have to disappear off camera every now and again, just to make sure that it goes in all right. Trusty tweezers. That's the easy part. So yet another exercise in holding your breath. That's one. Whew. Look at that. Tiny buckle on a tiny belt. Must be mad. So I can just gently pull this through. Nope, I have to push that up. Hopefully not pull it out on the other hand on the side at the same time. Would not be the first time. There we go. That's more or less where I want it. And that's one. Now I'm going to get this piece in there as well. Just put it down for a second. As if model making wasn't a trial of the patience of your patience to begin with. So normally I would ball these up before I assemble them, but I think I might do that afterwards. Well, this is going to be really, really interesting for you guys, isn't it? What I might do, just to save everyone's sanity, is I'll just demonstrate this one and then just cut and then move on off camera, because there's no way that you're going to stay awake for all of this. It's just not fair. It's cruel, an unusual punishment. And that being said, I just had a look at the YouTube statistics. Apparently, the average viewer only watches about 2.5 minutes of my stuff per video, which is interesting. I'm not sure how much faith I should put into all that. Interesting statistics there. It is a bit dry, I must say. Don't think I'd watch this for that long. It's one of these things that, one of those details you look at and go, or someone who doesn't know anything about what's going on will look at it and go, oh, that's nice. And you go, yeah, it took me 5 hours to put those together. Oh, really? It's like this DL-44 Han Solo blaster replica that I made last year. Hours of work went into it to make the thing more accurate. The basic gun replica itself, because you start off with a broom handle Mauser replica, because you'd be mad if you were to use the real thing. Unless, of course, you've got money to burn. And then I spent a long time making it more accurate. And consistently, what people say when they hold it is, "Ah, that's heavy." Yeah. There's loads of work that went into it. All right, okay, cool. And they move on to the next topic in the conversation. So close. I had it there, almost. I don't know if you saw. Just had it peeking through the other side. See, there it is. It's just peeking through. Let's see if I can... It's a knife tip to get it. There we go. Ugh. Cool. Let's pull it back out the other side. It's come through too far. No. Go back. If I swear, I do apologize. I have been known to use somewhat colourful language at times. Okay. Well, now, it's a bit short on one side. It goes in there. All right. There. That should do it. Man alive. Okay. Still too far to one side. It's maddening. There. Okay. So, here we go. What we have here is zoom in. Strap there, going through there, strap there, going through there. Arguably it's a bit far on this side, but it's fine. Now, that's that. And we'll go with one of these. Just trying to see where the detail is. Zooming in with the camera is a little bit easier than using my face and my eyes. doesn't make that much of a difference, which is good. Ah, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. You'll be hearing a lot of, where did it go? Over the next few while, if you're anywhere near me here. I tend to use super glue to glue all this stuff together. Well, I'll put a little dab on the end there and just hold it together, because it works really well with that stuff. Alright, let's see if I can feed this through here. Come on. There we go. That's so much easier. Where's my little palette? Oh, here we go. There's that. A little bit of the old super glue. That's almost one done. And remember, there's also the straps on the other side. What else is on here? Oh no, it's just the two clasps. Not clasps. The two buckles. And a leather pad. So these are standard sort of seat harnesses that go way back. I actually went on a Huey flight in Cape Town years ago, and I noticed that there's still those old-fashioned harnesses like these in the what are called gunner seats. Best seat in the house, honestly. There's a little dab of super glue on the shorter side of this. There we go. What's that? That is a buckle. It's going to sit there. Check the length. Yeah, I think we're all right. I think we're good. Okay, we need a number 4, which is one of those. They give you plenty of spares, so if one does decide to bounce off the International Space Station's solar panels, you know there's quite a few left. And I've got a spares box full of them as well. I don't do anything with these paint-wise. Not sure I should. Now this goes this side. Yeah. What's the easiest way to do this without losing it? It's been a while since I've installed these things. Damn it. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to subject you to the rest of this stuff. I'll do the rest off camera and then install them all at the same time. Or I'll finish hooking them up together, and then we'll show you how I weathered them before installing them, or at least age the cloth before I install them, and then add a little bit of a wash and maybe even a little bit of a dull coat. Just get that sort of that linen canvasy feel to them. Come on. I mean, this has been 25 minutes so far already, and that's just not even one. Come on, I'm pretty sure I put super glue on this thing. There we go. No, that's going to ping loose. It has gone loose. Let's try that one again. Mustn't screw this up, I've only got the one set. Silly, really should have more. There we go. So when I install this one, it will be at the bottom of the stack. This is the side that doesn't have the clasp on it, so I'm going to put this at the bottom. So I put the clasp on top of this, and then the shoulder harnesses on top of that. Right, for that one I need number 2. I'm going to make sure I have it the right way up, because there's an etched level on there. That's a bit deeper than the rest, so I'll make sure that that is further down. All is pointing up. Inspecting that I didn't bend the loop too much. This is going reasonably well, probably because I've had a fair amount of practice with these things over the past, or in the past. But yeah, it's I'm pleased how this is going. So there. That is that. That is one. There's one belt, one lap belt done. I'll let the adhesive set for a bit before I do weird stuff with it, like balling it up and no, wait, I still need to do the leather pads, which are those, but I'll wait, because those won't crumple up as much as the rest does, not in reality. just going to do that. Hopefully not wreck it in the meantime. Little bit of the gunmetal. And I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. That's it now. I just wanted to pick up a little bit of dirt. There. Okay. There we go. It's just a little bit of a griminess to it. There. I think I might just install this one while we're here, just so we can get an idea of how that works. So let me just install the pad first. Might not even take that backing off of these guys. No, I will. There we go. That's more or less in place. It's a bit off to one side, but I can live with that. I won't be able to hide it with the other belts. Now, I'll just tack this side against the side of the seat. Oh, 35 minutes and all I've done is one of these. Okay. Get off. Put that about there. And this, well, somehow drape into the seat bucket itself. See, that's come loose in the abuse it's been given just a moment ago. It'll, there. Right. Okay, I will put a little dab of glue just there, just on the inside here. There we go. So when I push this over, it will stay there. Hopefully. Like that. And this will, I think, move that over to there. Let's put a little dab of this. Again, just about here. Move this over. There. That is one belt installed. I may just to make sure this doesn't do anything weird, just put a little dab of glue at the top, but in such a way that it doesn't fold over completely. There's a bit of a, there we go. There's a bit of a gap there. So that is one in place. And that wasn't as much as a fight as I thought it was going to be. Whew. I'm gonna breathe again. Anyway, I will do the other side off camera and cut, and then hopefully come back to adding a wash to these parts before they go in. So yes, bear with me. I'll be back in a moment. Ah, right. That's that. That took forever, and that was so fiddly. But look at that. These are so worth the effort. Nothing beats a cloth seatbelt. They really look the part. I'm quite happy with that. I need to just shuffle these around a bit, straighten that up. That's all right. Now, to give this a bit of a weathering, as you can see, I've already sort of rolled them around like I did with the first one, between my fingers, using a little bit of graphite powder to age them up a bit, or dirty them up. What I'll do now is a little bit of Agrax Earthshade and maybe a little bit of Nuln oil, just to give it a bit of a light wash in some of the corners. I don't want to paint it with the stuff because otherwise it'll just tint the seatbelts too much, which is not something I'm after doing. Basically what I want to do is So these little around the buckles there. And around these straps, just to give it a little bit of shadowy depth. There, that should do it. Maybe a little bit more here. Just under here. There. That'll do. So when I place it in here, inside the cockpit, it's obviously still loose. None of this is glued in place yet. Hopefully it'll fit. Seems a bit tight in there. I think a little bit of persuasion and it'll go in there all right. Let's just have a look at this. Where is it not fitting properly? Just need to slide this out. This is where it's going to live. All right, that's not going to help. Right there. There we go. Now I think that looks quite good. See? How nice is that? Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Yeah, that's nice. It's very, very nice. So yeah, that's that. Right, next up, painting the headrest. Well, okay. The cockpit now has its seat. I installed that. I fixed it to the bulkhead after I installed the straps, and as you can see, it just really makes the cockpit. It's a very prominent item in there, and it just looks so good. So now I'm going to paint the headrest there. None of that's fixed or fitted other than the seat glued to the bulkhead, so I'm gonna take it apart now. Oops, steady. I'm gonna take it apart and then start painting it. The combing here needs to be painted as well still, but I'll do that when the fuselage is together. When I do that, I'll also paint the leather pads on either side of the gun sight. Cool. So now the only reference I could really find for this is, I'm using Google, is on this image here. Oops, let me just try and fold that over, where you see the pad has only sort of lightly worn towards the bottom. So I'm going to see if I can replicate this or simulate this to a degree, keeping this close by. And for that I will be using, I'll show you what colours I use. Let me just take this out of the and disassemble this thing first. I'm going to have to do this peering over my phone again, just so you get a better view of what's going on. There. Gently maneuver all these out of there. There we go. Haven't glued this down either, so that's all separate. Put that aside. Put these aside. Fuselage pieces. Just in a little project bin over to the side there. Okay, so yeah, there we go again. Okay, so here is the here's the part in question. Now we'll be using Vallejo German camouflage black brown as a base. I have a feeling I might end up repainting this at some stage, because it's always a bit hit and miss, but you know, we'll see how we do. It says matte black. These things are never matte black. Leather tends to be dyed. And looking at photos of restored aircraft, I might be wrong in thinking, but it looks like most of the headrests appear to have been recovered or restored using a vinyl or pleather texture or textile. So what I'll do is I'll paint this on and then use black washes to darken it a bit more. Normally I use this color for weathering on armored vehicles. This stuff and a sponge, and you can make a really nice little chipping effect. That buzzing in the background you can hear is the baby monitor. There we go. There. Yeah, I'm going to think about how I'm going to do the rest of this. I think I'll start with the next one up will be probably some of this, the Vallejo Saddle Brown, which is a nice leather color. Let me just get my Spitfire cockpit as a reference here. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm just trying to remember how I did this. I think I did it with. Should really start recording this. Very clever thing that the scenic artists did on Isle of Dogs is they kept a for everything they did, they kept a log. They had a little book where they wrote everything down, the procedures, their paints, their mixtures, all that, just so they can replicate it perfectly every time. So yeah, it looks like I definitely used black, which I'll do on that one as well. But you can see that you've got there's the black there, which I will mix up a nice. I'll use the was it the camouflage black brown. Add a little bit of where is it? Flat black, if I can find it. It's around here somewhere. There it is, hiding underneath my reference. So I'll mix a little bit of this in with that to create the darker color, and I'll try to paint a pattern on here that will replicate the pattern on there. So essentially it'll be radiating out from the center, more or less. Just brush painting it. And then I will go with progressively lighter shades of this mixed with what's this? A little bit of sand and ivory. I don't want to go too worn with it. But just enough, just to give it a little bit of depth and life. All right, so I'm going to mix up the paint by adding just a little drop of black. Now watch as I completely ruin this. There we go. Again, it's never totally black. It's always a so with leather, it's always like a dark brown. And you just look at a unless, and it's only really pitch black when you buy like a motorcycle jacket, brand new or something like that. It'll always fade to a dark brown. Right, so as I said, I'm going to concentrate on going from the center out. So I'm going to start on these edges. There. So it will be darker towards the edges because that's where, again, very little traffic, not enough handling and movement to see it weather. Hang on, bear with me, just got to check on the boy. He's all good. Just rolled over face down and he's back up again, he's good. Right, so it's almost a dry brush, but not quite. In fact, I may just paint in the edges and then see what happens if I do a semi-dry brush. I'm just making this up as I go along, folks. Good thing about recording this is that I now have a reference for the next time. Okay, so try a little bit of a, it's not a dry brush, I just picked up a slightly larger, wider brush. I'll go over this again with the neat brown. Let's see just now. Right, I'm starting over again. Well, I have started over again. I wasn't happy at all with the way it was going. So I have base coated it with the black and brown mix. So it is now a very, very dark brown. So now what I will do is going to add a lighter tone of the brown. Very thin. See if that works. I'm going to start in the areas where I want it to be, which is more or less here. That's very thin. Let's try a little bit more direct. Let's go bring it back a little bit with the black and brown mix. So we can stipple that back in a bit. That's okay. I might do a little bit on this top corner here. I find this very tricky. Okay, right. Now let's move over to the saddle brown. I'm not using too much of it. I keep forgetting how small this cockpit actually is. I'm staring at it through close-up camera lenses, camera views, and it's just, I'm getting very biased about it. It's like, oh, it looks terrible, but then I look at it really closely. I mean, it's just so teeny. A slightly larger brush to dry brush some of this on. Trying to be very gentle, don't want to add too many streaks to it. So I'm basically sort of try and blend it. The lighting doesn't help. I may have said this before. There. Oops. Should do it. And now I will try this stuff instead of this sand, because I think this might be a bit easy to manipulate. I say this now, but now, what I will first do is draw in some areas that I want to have as the highlight areas where the most weathering will be, or most wear. Where's the wear? There. Bad jokes. Arguably this is already dried. Let's try the other brush. A bit of a clean. So for the second time round, it's not going too terribly. If you make it this far into the video, let me know in the comments what you find the most challenging part of painting. Am I mad or is this stuff just drying before I can apply it? To me it looks like that. There. Suited on paints are supposed to be easy to work with. Right, well, I'll turn this back down with I have a dry brush going the other direction. Possibly a wash with maybe Aggregate Earthshade, just to turn it back down again. I'm going to go bouncing back and forth with paints all evening. Some of the dark brown again, thin mixture thereof. Just stipple that back in. That went wrong. Some random blob of something just landed on there. Can I smooth this out again? Can I salvage this? Or am I painting this a third time? Hard to tell. What I'm trying to do now is just blend it backwards and forwards a bit. May as well try because, you know what, I'll just repaint it again in a moment. Although, what's happening here? Oh, hang on, what's going on there? Yeah, no, this isn't working. I'm going to have to let this dry and then give it a bit of a buff with some a sanding pad or something, and then come back to it. See how it dries. It's getting very lumpy there. Or is it? It's very hard to tell. Tell you what, let's see if a drop of alcohol in there will work. Hopefully not ruin everything entirely. What I'm now doing is just a little bit of IPA. Help strip it off a bit. See, it's all going so well. Well, let's try that again, shall we? Now, back again with a neat brown. This is tricky. I just realised I was painting and I had my hand resting on the Gorilla Pod mount. Okay, that's that. That's the brown. And the leather, the saddle brown. So actually a little bit. Was that any of that shot? No, I don't know. It's a little bit dry. Let's add a little bit more in there. A little bit of airbrush thinners. There we go. And grab some of the thinners. Grab a little bit of the saddle brown. See if I can just sort of create a shape with this. And just the neat thinners, try and blend it a bit more, melt it around a bit. Grab some of the brown, back and forth a bit. Some of the black brown. Let's not try the Citadel again. Let's go with the ivory sand color. With Vallejo this time, which is what I believe I used on the Spitfire. Oh, my favourite lever just broke off again. Don't know where that's gone, but it's that one. I'm not doing too well this evening. So this is just very thin saddle brown, just going around the edges. And some of the sand colour. It's very, very thin. It's just trying to get in the centre of those areas. Since this is dried, I will do one of two things. One is apply a wash of Agrex Earthshade, maybe some sepia, see how I feel, and then find where that lever went to. Hopefully not too far. I don't actually know when it disappeared. I'll have to roll the tape back, or video back, and see where I can figure out where it went, or when it went rather. Yeah. Cool. I'll let that dry. And take it from there. Okay, I'm gonna just add a little bit more in another shade in this area here, which is going to be a mixture of the saddle brown and the black brown, because there's a little bit more tone in there. I found the lever. It was buried, not buried, it was sort of submerged in the little pool of thinners I have had in the side of my little palette here, which is great. A little bit of there. So it's an intermediate colour, as it were. See if I can stipple this in. There we go. Okay. I don't think I'm fully on board with all this that's going on, so anyway, let's add a little bit of black to that mixture. Just a smaller brush. Might be onto something now. Let's thin this out a bit. A little bit of the saddle brown again. Then back. Some thinners. Some of the sand and what's it? The saddle brown. Bit more diluted sand. Bit of the brown and saddle brown again. See what the sand does to that one. It's an interesting little colour there. Just going to thin it. I think we're getting close now, or at least getting to a point where I should just walk away. Cool. I will leave it at that. A little wash of this stuff in a moment, and then yeah, that'll be that for now. When that's dry, I will mix up some satin, clear satin, and paint it in that, and then use a sponge or stipple to put matte clear on this area here. So yeah, we finally got something reasonably close to what I was after. I find it terribly hard to do this, but yeah, it can't be Can't be an expert at everything, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. See, that's not too bad in that angle. So yeah, let that sort of sit for a bit, and then a wash. Let's put a wash on this. Let's put a wash on this. This is the Agrax Earthshade, which should blend it all quite nicely together, as well as give it a little bit of shade. May have not waited long enough. While I'm at it, I'll try some Nuln oil as well. Just towards the edges, the black area. There we go. Cool. Let that dry fully. And then we'll put on some clear coats to seal it all in. All right. Well, I think that's gone all right. I might just try a little dab of sepia. Watch me ruin it now. This sepia looks like it's seen better days. Some of my supplies have been around a while. Yeah, let's see what this does. I mean, it'll hopefully just warm it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. It's just warmed up a little bit there. There we go. Nice. So, yeah, it's under scrutiny like this, it looks terrible. Well, not terrible, but it doesn't look as good as it should do. But looking at it from arm's length, it's not too bad. It's almost, I wouldn't say almost disappeared, but it's subtle, shall we say. Yeah, that'll do. Actually, what I might do, I say that a lot, what I might do, might make that the next drinking game. And from the, so anyway, to the what I might do. Let's just take some of the sand, gentle dry brush. Bring some of that edge back. Cool. Right, I think that's that. And now I will look at the satin coat in a moment. Just let this dry for a sec. And here we are again. This episode is very broken up today. Just sort of bouncing around between various coats of paint and also checking in on the boy every now and again. Just make sure he's alright. So, I'm going to take these two, put this aside for a second, and this. Let's clean that little palette again, and we'll just mix up like a 1-to-1 ratio of gloss and matte. Oh, 1-to-1-ish. Drop it to this. This is the airbrush thinner. And then make sure that brush is clean. We continue. Clean enough. Yeah, that'll do. A good old stir. Might add a little bit more matte. Just so it's a bit more in the dull side of shiny. Seeing as there's not so much on here, should dry fairly quickly. There we go. See how that comes out. While that does its thing, I will take another little cup. Oh, not even. Yeah, no, another little cup. I can reuse this later. And let's see, matte varnish. Neat-ish. And no, not you. I need you. Thin and medium. You have to use this stuff, otherwise it goes chalky. And good old stir. You can sort of see that, yeah. And for that, I will stipple that onto the area that is scuffed. Well, the satin is a bit too shiny, so I'll take the same mixture I had now. Let's add 3 drops of gloss in there. Probably too much as well. And just mix that over to the side. There. So now you have not only tonal differences in, well, not differences in tone in color, but also in reflectiveness. So the old leather will be, or the worn leather, the scuffed leather will be matte, and then the less scuffed stuff will be satin, which is what I think I have here, which is quite nice. And after all of that, I am going to call it done. The cockpit. I don't think there's anything else that needs to go in here. Yeah, we've got the seatbelts are in, the map is in place. I need to restore that little lever. Yeah, that's all there. Anything else that needs to go in will be in the floor, which is a separate part, which is part of the wings. So I can now officially nail the cockpit shut. Excellent. I shall do that in between now and the next video. And thanks for putting up with this one.